Lauren Southern's recent visit to Lakemba, suburb of Sydney, Australia, certainly did expose that there are no-go zones, at least in Sydney, and I imagine elsewhere in our larger cities here in Australia. And so I thought I'd just do another video on this. So let's review a little bit of what she had footage of.
Speaking.
Inspector Rick Ages from Campsie Police.
Yep.
I've been informed that you're intending to attending the Lakemba Mosque, is that correct?
I actually have no intentions of attending. I was just planning on walking through the streets and seeing how the culture was here.
Yes?
Yep.
Are you satisfied with that?
Yep.
So where do you intend on walking to now?
I was just going to walk out and check how the mosque was.
Check where the mosque was?
Yep. Would I not be allowed to attend if I wanted to?
I've got grave concerns that you may cause an imminent breach of the peace down there.
You know, there's no doubt that it's probably hard to be a police officer in this day, but one must deal with all sorts of people and a multitude of laws and interpretations to those laws. And in a little search on the internet, I found a document called a Code of Practice for Crime that has 192 pages. It can be downloaded off the internet. Then there's Evidence Act 1995, number 25. It has 147 pages. And then there's Police Powers of Arrest and Detention, February 2018. It has 32 pages. And from that last one, the Police Powers of Arrest and Detention, I read from page 17, Roman numeral 7. And I quote, "To protect the safety and welfare of any person, including the person arrested, this has been broadened out to include a person other than the person being arrested. Some have suggested that this does not significantly broaden the power of police, as they already have a common law power of arrest to deal with a breach of the peace. However, welfare is a word capable of very broad interpretation. It is conceivable that police may arrest a person to protect another person's welfare in situations where there is no imminent breach of the peace." End of quote. As I see it, the breach of the peace that Lauren may have committed or was going to commit was to offend the Muslims on the streets of Lakemba or down there at the mosque. That's the way I take it. This breach of the peace in these articles that I downloaded and searched through is very hard to determine what it is. But anyway, he gave her a warning. So let's go on with what footage she has.
So I'm asking you not to attend.
Why would I cause a breach of the peace?
Because it's highly religious down there.
So a breach of the peace, at least in this case, seems to be because it's religious down there. Whether you agree with Lauren Southern or not, to me it seems absurd. Well, let's go on.
So would it be me causing a breach of the peace, or would it be the people there?
Well, your presence may cause them to be, be offensive and be objective to your attending there.
And so that would be them being offended
Please,
by me.
Can you not interview me?
So the Muslims down there just might be offended, and that's a breach of the peace, according to this police officer. Therefore, being offended, having been offended, is a breach of the peace. Is that for everybody? If that's the case, then there would be a lot of people arrested and and in jail if it went through the courts, because a lot of us have been offended at some time in our lives. You know, I'm offended when Islam put up signs and say that Jesus was a Muslim. I was offended when the Muslims protested over that film that was made on Muhammad, and some of them carried signs that said, "Behead the infidels." I was offended. In reality, this is nonsense, what this is happening here, but let's go on.
The local community walk around here without any fear. I walk around here without any
Right, but
fear.
I'm a critic of Islam.
Yes.
So I can't be in this multicultural because my culture is allowed to have free speech and
Okay,
criticizes
I understand
Islam.
you have your own beliefs and you're allowed to have your own beliefs. I have no issue with that. I'm asking you not to attend down there because I have a fear that you may cause an imminent breach of the peace. In doing so, you may commit an offence.
Am I allowed to walk through the area?
I'm asking you not to go down the Haldon Street.
You're
So the police officer, he can walk around without any fear in that area of Lakemba. Could it be because he's a policeman? But if you are not a Muslim, or you might be one who is critical of Islam, we'd rather have you not walk around this area. So here's this petite young lady that just may be committing an offense by her presence. She may be offending these Muslims. And she's now prohibited from even walking down to the mosque. Why? Because the Muslims are religious and they just may be offended at this petite young lady from Canada who's a non-Muslim. Doesn't make sense to me.
asking me, but do I have the legal right to walk down this area?
At this point in time, no.
I know you're walking away, but I would like to do some interviews. Would I be allowed to do
No,
interviews?
you're not welcome in there.
No, I'm not.
Did you hear that? The policeman said, "You're not welcome here." That's the policeman. You're not welcome here. See, the Muslims don't even have to come out and be offended and say, "You're not wanted here." The police do it. Is this a police state? Do we have the freedom to walk down the street, to walk down a public footpath, to walk in front of a mosque? I dare a Christian preacher to stand out in front of that mosque and hand out Christian literature. I wouldn't want to be that preacher.
Well, no, just to do interviews on the street. Am I allowed to?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm asking you not to. Go
I
back.
just,
No,
would I
I'm
be
telling
allowed,
you.
okay, no cameras, nothing. Would I be allowed to talk to people and
I'm
criticize
asking-
Islam?
No.
Why?
Because I'm telling you, no, you're committing an offence. Why do you need to do it here?
Because
Why?
this is a
What
highly
questions-
Islamic
what
area.
question- What questions do you intend asking?
Could I not talk to people and criticize
What
Islam?
question? Why do you want to? Why do you want to criticise Islam? Like I said, if you're inside, I have fear that you're going to cause a breach of the peace.
No, you fear people will be
No,
offended
no,
by me.
No, yeah.
Yes, thank
and
you.
And you're committing a breach of the peace. I've given you that warning, and if you do that, you may be breaking the law. Do you understand that?
Yep, I understand it. I perfectly understand. As far as I'm concerned, you have Sharia law here. As far as I'm concerned.
That young lady has some courage, doesn't she? And I agree with her that at least in that part of Sydney, they have Sharia, and it's a no-go zone for non-Muslims, and the police enforce it. That's not to say some non-Muslims can't go there, but you certainly aren't going to go there and criticize or ask questions that are critical of Islam. I asked the question, when will it be that way in the rest of Australia? You know, Muslims need the Lord Jesus just as all of us did. But if this continues, it's going to be like Pakistan or Bangladesh and other places where Islam has taken over. We need to wake up. For wherever Islam becomes entrenched, it becomes a no-go zone. It becomes a no-go zone for freedom of speech, and for those who are not Muslim. It becomes a no-go zone for those that might want to proclaim the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. We need to wake up before it's too late.